Hello, I'm Matt Evans, and welcome to Board Game Replay. In this series, you're going to be joining our group for a post-game discussion where we recap our experience with the game, as well as cut back to replay clips from some of the highlights during our session. Now today we're going to be playing The Undercity, an Iron Kingdoms adventure board game published by Privateer Press. Now, this is a cooperative, scenario-driven, tactical miniatures game for up to 4 players. And before we get to our game, I just want to offer a brief rules overview for those of you who might not be familiar. I'm not going to cover every detail because there's quite a bit to cover here, but I just want to give you a bit more context for our discussion. However, if you're already familiar with this game and you don't need that, I'm going to add a link in the description down in the timeline, as well as I'll put something right up here. You can just click that, skip right by it. All right, with that being said, let's get to the overview. All right, so we've got the board set up in front of us here, and the first thing you'll probably notice is that this board is actually just this plain material throughout the entire thing. It's a 9x6 grid of this sewer, essentially, because that is the Undercity. This whole game takes place in the sort of like bowels of the city in this like sewery type thing. So the board is actually this 9x6 grid of that, and then depending on the scenario, you're going to place these tiles. They're all double-sided. There's a bunch of them in the box. They're different sizes and shapes. They have different designs and patterns on them and stuff to represent different rooms and that sort of thing. So for example, chapter 4 here is what we're on. This is called Off the Hook, and you can see this is how the board is to be set up. It shows us what enemies are going to be here, also as the various decks that are going to be in the game, which cards to put in them, and then you've got your flavor and your various rules for the scenario as well. So that's how the game is set up. You read a scenario, you set up the board accordingly. Now in this particular scenario, our heroes are over here, and they're going to be trying to get through this gate here. And this gate is impenetrable. We can't destroy it. There's nothing our heroes can do to get by it. But there is this crane hook here that we can move and smash through that door, and that's how we're trying to get out. That's our goal, is to escape. However, up here in the corner, in the control room for the crane, we've got this boss villain, and he's just going to keep activating that crane and trying to smash us with it because it does a lot of damage and knocks us down. So we're trying to race to get to that control box, move that hook, smash the door, and get out. All the while, these guys that are on the map are going to be attacking us. These different spots on the board are spawn points, like down here, this is a spawn point. Up there we've got a spawn point, and we have one actually over here as well. Now this game is played over a series of rounds, and at the beginning of each round, players are going to be drawing an event card for the round, and it's got something generally bad on it, like this one here is, spawning some more enemies and putting them on the map. Sometimes there's good things in there, but generally they're sort of like a bad thing that happens for the round. And then after that, players are just going to alternate taking turns based on their initiative values. But basically then, the first thing the players do in their turn is they're going to spawn some new enemies. They're going to pick up some dice, roll them. Depending on what they roll, it's going to determine what enemies spawn and where they show up here in the dungeon. Then the players are going to activate, and again, I'll get more to this in just a minute. This is where they move and then take actions. And the last thing they do in their turn is they draw a villain action, and this is how basically the bad guys attack you in this game. They draw one of these cards, and it will give instructions about what guys to activate. This one says activate the 4 villains closest to you. So the player whose turn it was would draw this, and he would activate it based on those conditions, and then the enemies all have specific rules on their cards for how they activate. So it's the whole villain reference sheet here that comes with the game, which is really nice. And all the different villains in the game have these icons on their sheets, and so you know exactly what to do and how to control them. Alright, so now we're looking at one of the character sheets and a little bit of the board, so I can better explain how player activations work. Right at the top here, you can see in this character sheet, you got an initiative here, which determines your turn order when you go in the round. Vitality is your health. You can see my health over here. Now, strength, intelligence, and perception, those are all stats that you roll against for skill checks and things like that. So the scenario might have you like opening a heavy door or something, and you'd roll against your strength to see if you could open that door or whatever. Now, down here, defense and armor. Your defense is an enemy's chance to hit you. Enemies are going to be rolling against these stats to try and first hit you, which is your defense, and if they hit you, then they're going to roll against your armor to see if they actually damage you. And I'll get more to that in just a minute. Back at the top, you can see I've got a knife as a melee weapon, and then I've got a thrown knife and a grenade. And my grenade actually breaks down into 3 different types of special grenades that I can choose whenever I pick that, as well as a feat. Now, this character sheet, everything on here is unique in terms of his weapons and his stats and his special abilities and things, but every character has something like that, where they have one of their abilities that breaks down into multiple different flavors like that. I've also got this feat, which is another special ability, a second wind ability, and then down here I've got this feat deck. And a feat deck is, everybody has their own unique feat deck, and you start the game with 3 of them drawn in front of you here, and they have 2 different abilities on you. You can choose one or the other, and they just kind of let you do some extra things on your turn. They kind of make one more thing to make your character kind of unique in this game. And yeah, as you use them, you discard them, and then at the end of your turn, you draw one more. So there's kind of a nice flow. You're always getting at least one of these back per turn, but they're always like kind of letting you break the rules and do interesting things. Over here on the left, I've got a special item that I picked up from a side quest. In some of the maps, there are side quests, so I should say all the maps. There are side quests strewn about that are kind of out of the way, sort of a risk to go get them, but if you do, you can end up with some cool loot, or some of these cards will actually have side quests on them with a little storyline and a side quest that will branch out throughout the campaign. Now lastly, over here on the right, we've got these cards here, which are ability cards, and those are earned with experience. You can see at the very top right here, there's an experience point value that's required to buy those cards, and the way you buy them is, as you're playing through a mission, you will be damaging enemies, and every time you damage an enemy, not kill, just damage, you're going to place an XP token on here for every point of damage that you do. And then at the end of the map, you're going to split this up amongst all the heroes, and you can use that to buy ability cards. Now, each hero has this huge deck of ability cards, lots of different costs, special abilities, special powers. You can make yourself really unique building out this deck. All right, so now that we've gone through the character breakdown, I'm going to activate Milo. I'm going to have it be his turn. So here he is here, and he's got two villains over here. And the first thing he's going to do in his turn is he's going to move. And when you move, you can either hold, walk, or charge. You have one of those three options. And depending what you choose, there are different tactical advantages. You move a certain number of spaces, generally anywhere from 0 to 2 spaces. So I'm going to choose to walk with Milo. I'm going to move 1 space, and then I'm going to make a ranged attack. And when you make an attack, you get to use all of the weapons of that type. So I actually have 2 ranged weapons. I'm going to be able to, with my one action, I'm going to be able to attack with each of those weapons. So first I'll attack the sword thug here. I'll use my thrown knife. It's got a range of 1, which means I need to be within 1 space, which I am. And it's got an accuracy of 6 and a power of 6. And I'm going to try to meet or exceed his defense. I have to at least get 12 or greater to hit him. All right, so I rolled a 7 plus the 6 there. That's 13. I've exceeded his defense. And so now I hit him. So the knife landed. Now we just got to see how much damage it does. So for that, I take 2 dice once again. Basically, all the combat dice rolls are always 2 dice, and there are certain things that can modify them. You can boost them, get an extra die, that sort of thing. Roll again for damage. That's pretty much the perfect damage roll right there. So I rolled 12 plus the 6, so I got 18. Now the interesting part with armor is that you actually have to exceed their armor. If you exceed their armor by at least 1, you'll deal a single damage. The most you can ever deal to a character is 2 damage. So if you exceed their armor by at least 1, you'll deal 1 damage. If you exceed it by 5 or greater, you'll deal 2 damage. And that's it. That's the most damage you can ever do. So I actually did 2 damage to this guy, but he only has 1 damage to take. He only has 1 vitality. So he's going to die, obviously. And I'll actually get 1 XP because I dealt a damage. Now, this guy's gone. We'll put him off the map here. And now, as I mentioned before, I have another attack because I can use my grenade. My grenade down here has a range of 2. I'm still within 1 space here, so I can use that. And then I can choose, you can see the asterisks here for accuracy and power. Depending on which grenade I use, it's going to determine, it's going to be different. So I'm going to use the acid grenade. So it's a accuracy of 5 and a power of 9. So I'm going to roll my dice, see if I can hit him first. All right, 9 and 5, I got him with that. So that's going to well exceed his defense of 11. And we'll see if I deal damage to him now. And I do, actually, and that's great. So I got 11 plus a power of 9 here. So I got 20. That exceeds his armor by more than 5. He's going to take 2 wounds. So in that case, he'd take 2 wounds here, put him over next to his sheet, and then I would take 2 experience points because I dealt 2 damage. And that's basically how combat works. Now looking over here at these guys, you can see they have similar stats. He actually has a hammer that he attacks with, so when this villain would activate, he has an accuracy of 6 on his hammer and a power of 11. And these icons down at the bottom, these are the villain tactic icons, and those represent the actions that this Ogren Brute's going to take. So if a villain action card comes up and says to activate this guy, we're going to follow this order until one of them gets done. All right, so this should give you a pretty basic idea of how the game works, as well as the scenario we're going to be running today. But again, I left out a lot of details, and I just wanted to keep this as brief as possible because the publisher, actually, Privateer Press, made an excellent full rules video for this game. It's a little over 20 minutes. And it'll teach you everything in detail. It's got excellent graphics on the screen. It's very, very well produced. I'll put a link to that in the description. I highly recommend checking that out if you want the full rules. But otherwise, this has just been a basic rules overview. It should be enough for our discussion today. Well, I think with that being said, why don't we get to the game? Filament activation is over. Now we go to Brian spawning a guy. We're completely maxed out on spawns.
Activate.
Brian, roll.
5.
What's that?
Cutthroat.
Cutthroat.
So red Cutthroat is this guy. So he comes in here and
He's gonna
attacks
charge.
lowest health, which is doorstop
That is
again.
doorstop. Oh,
Which is fine. He can get knocked out and it doesn't count towards anything. So
Yeah, he's another double hitter.
he has 2 hits, man.
so his first attack is a charge with +5 miss.
5.
Wait,
no, that's a
10?
hit. God, his second attack is going to come at me.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, but let's just roll the dice.
6, 7, 8, 9,
9 and 7.
16. That's one
got you
over.
better.
Oh, bummer.
So you're down, right?
So Pog
I don't know
is
what
deactivated.
Is now going to make his attack against me because I have the next lowest health. He's not going to be charging. Actually, that's going to be a miss. That's
What is that?
6 plus his 5, 11.
Nice.
14. So whips his second attack.
Thanks, doorstop.
Brian, what are you going to do on your turn?
So you step out of there,
I step out of there,
roll a die, see if you get punched. Nope.
don't get hit, and then I activate and move the hook twice.
Boom! And that's game.
Victory.
Melts everybody's face.
The party wins if the gate is destroyed. Add 3 XP to the treasury for each battle-ready hero, which is everybody.
Everybody's up.
Everybody's up.
Everybody is not.
3 times, so that's, wow, another 12 XP.
We're going to montage over it while we read it.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, heck with you. I want to hear it.
All right.
All right. So yeah, you were right. Like so now that we've kind of read the flavor here, we just kind of skimmed
We
over
scared them off.
it. But basically, yeah, we had to. The reason why we won, I won't spoil too much of the start, but we had to knock down this door so we could get out and let some other people in. That
we
were
never
gonna
did
clear
side
this place
quests.
up. So we did leave a side quest active, but that was that was getting pretty hairy. Like
Yeah.
Furthest corners of the map.
We didn't have that many turns.
we
to
didn't
get
have
over
the kind
there.
of activations to
We
get
didn't.
that. So I feel like this mission was so. I mean, yes, we're all still alive, but like that was as close as I think it's ever been in terms of us
Yeah.
losing.
I mean, we
You
put it
got
all on
knocked out.
epic, so everyone like what's the difference? Like everyone has more health.
It's
more health,
It's
and
usually
like
one
synergy.
more health.
Yeah, synergy.
Yeah.
They have. I hope some of them. I mean, we might have forgot to use some. There's a lot of stuff to track and to kind of keep track of here, but I think once you kind of get a flow for the game, all that stuff it feels really cool. Like you're like, oh, that dude's epic. He's got 2 weapons and he does this ability. But there's a lot of stuff. Like looking at all the stuff that's happening in front of us right now. There's a ton on the table, but you take a game to absorb it all, and then it's like it's awesome. It's awesome that there's that much like mathy stuff going around. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
It was crazy when you started. Like, my first thought was, like we could fight. Like I want to hit something, but
Yeah.
like half the stuff on the map was like the heavy boss characters, and I'm like, there's no way. Some of them had 4 health, so it was just charged. And by the time I got to here, I got stuck there and knocked down. But by the time I got here, this was the map.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah. Well, we had everything
did not want
spawned.
to be over there.
We couldn't kill them quick enough. Like
No.
anytime we kill something, it would just spawn back. So,
Yeah. It didn't matter.
Yeah, the only way to do 2 damage is to crit.
Yeah.
So when you have everything on epic and everything's got an extra hit point,
Yeah, some
it's
had
suddenly
4
way
even.
harder.
It was 3 and 4 health units.
Yeah.
That's hard. Like
Yeah,
the
those guys.
cutthroats, they have 1 health. Those are easy enough to take out. But the guys with 3 and 4, like even with 2 attacks, you would have to crit with 2 attacks to kill a 4 health guy.
Yeah.
Knockdowns are your friend. I mean, it just proved that. I mean, even I made a comment earlier about I forget what the name of that unit, the ogre.
Ogre and brute.
He was knocked down and then came back almost immediately after Matt had like knocked him down for me,
yeah.
and then he came right back up immediately. But he would have activated
And attacked twice.
and attacked twice. So
Yeah, that guy's a monster.
it's just your friend. It's so much. It's a better option, especially when you're going up against those higher
Definitely.
health characters.
We took a few missions to figure that out too. We were looking at the stats. I remember in our first couple of games, we were like, concussion grenade. That's 8 XP. Why? That kind of sucks. Like all these
Yeah.
grenades, I have 3 grenades and I have an additional concussion grenade. But that concussion grenade just auto hit, knock down everything in a space. What? Like that's huge. That's amazing
Yeah.
to take all of those guys' activations and just shut them down. It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I added a combat shield. The first person I hit with my shield in a round lets me knock him down. So using my action to give him the ability to charge for this turn. So
Okay.
he's going to charge and then shield bash.
Nice.
I'm going to tune up and boost his attack rolls this turn. So both my attacks, I attack a shield and a thing.
I'll put this down here for the sake of resolving his
So it's 12,
defense.
13 defense with 5 accuracy.
That hits for sure.
Pretty good.
Whoa.
He landed a hit.
It's either really low,
Charge
like
boosted
no mid
damage.
rolls
We
right
haven't
now.
had any.
Charge
Boosted
boosted
damage,
damage.
yeah,
So
boosted
my
damage.
first one is the shield, power 7, because I want to knock him down.
Nice.
boost.
Good call. Good call. You auto hit your next hat.
Oh,
That's
So-
wait. How much damage is that? That might be 2.
7,
that's 12.
13. That's
12
12 roll,
19.
You have to exceed 13. Did you exceed by 5 or
Yeah.
more? 2 wounds to him.
Sweet.
So
really?
Yeah, he took 2.
That's so good.
So just put the wounds on the left side.
And he's knocked down.
Too.
So you said when they're knocked down, he what? It's auto hit?
Auto accepts.
So then he's dead by my mace hit.
Well, you gotta swing your damage.
I gotta roll it down.
Swing your damage roll. So the next hit, we'll just explain that, right? Boom! You just knocked him down.
Yeah.
Now that he's knocked down, Jeremy has a second attack because Doorstop has 2 attacks. He's got a mace and a shield. He shield bashed him down to his butt, and now he's about to crush him with a mace. You're rolling just 2 damage for this.
Come on, Doorstop.
2 damage plus 10 power, so I think I'll be right. Even with that.
14 plus 10 is what?
13.
You
still kills him.
just did it by 1 damage. So that's 3 XP we got for killing this one dude. Boom.
All right.
Good job,
Okay,
Doorstop.
that was badass. I feel better about the start of our game.
I was going to say.
We were having a little bit of a rough start. Like
those ranged attacks were not working at all.
Just whiffing left and right, and then you just come up and destroy that guy.
I only knocked 1 or 2 people down, but it's like he was saying, you knock them down, then they spend a whole turn where they would have attacked twice.
Yep. Yeah, and you auto hit them with any attacks while they're
when they're knocked down. They're a lot easier to hit. So
the epic enemies are just so rugged.
Yeah, I personally like playing on epic. We played our first mission, I think, without it. Maybe the first 2 without it, and we didn't even get really. There wasn't much. I don't know. I wouldn't say it wasn't challenging. Like it was still fun. We were learning the game and stuff, but we kind of all finished it with like maybe 1 wound each, and we were like, all right, let's step. I think it was the 3rd we went into it. Like, let's step this up. Let's just.
Anytime someone spawned, we'd clear the board pretty much.
Yeah.
Is there an intermediate level? How do you?
You could just choose to optionally flip whatever guys you want.
So we flip literally every card to the harder version. So if we just did 2 or 3 of them to the harder version.
Gotcha.
I recommend playing it this way. Like if you want the game to be challenging, I kind of like my co-ops to be hard. I like them to be down to the wire, and this has definitely moved it more in that direction. I mean, this is. I don't want to say this is an easy game, but playing on the base difficulty, it's not super difficult. Like it's actually a really fun one to sit down and play through. If you don't want to put in too much stress, if you want to just kind of have a good time playing a game, do that. But if you want a challenge, flip them all to epic right from the start.
I guess the only thing I would say is it made me feel not so badass. I mean, what
do you mean?
Frankly, because I should have been using leveler more often instead of trying to go for the kill. I can't. I mean, even if I crit, I'm not taking somebody out that turn.
To be fair, you have some really bad rolls. Just shoot the one that's knocked down, you get a free hit, so then you can just do brutal for boosted damage.
Yeah,
that way you automatically hits, now you get boosted damage.
Good call.
Right. I've got cards to keep them strong, it's fine.
That's cocked through all that.
Yeah, get another 1. There we go. Close enough.
So there's your boosted damage roll.
You're the worst.
Of
12?
What was that? 12?
The big guy?
14. There's no way you're going to
Seriously?
All right.
I can trick shot it.
You didn't miss. You hit. You just did no damage.
Once per turn, you can discard a feature to make an additional ranged attack against another target in the same space.
Read the top of that.
Oh, I can reroll.
Reroll.
No, it's
any number of dice.
So reroll all 3 of them, please.
Reroll all 3 of those dice.
Those are all rolls.
Just the 2.
Just the 2?
Yeah, just
all 3.
Just reroll
Brian, keep the 1. Never listen to Brian.
What is he saying?
That's better. Not really, though.
See?
It's a little bit better.
I would level the biggest guy because he's standing in your way of getting away from everybody.
Yeah, because you knock him down, next turn you can run through.
I don't have to go. I don't have to roll.
If you choose to level.
Landing.
Is there any way to boost or anything before you?
Nope.
You have reroll.
I rerolled if I need it, but.
Yeah, just knock him down. I like it. 5 and.
5.
What is it?
10.
He has
reroll the 1.
11 defense. Yeah, I need to go a little bit higher.
Just reroll the 1. You keep the 4. 4 is pretty good.
You need to get. You can guarantee it. You already got it.
Nope.
Okay. What the hell, man? That's the worst thing that could have possibly happened. I was like, you literally got it with anything better than a 1 because you needed to get 11 defense.
I can't drink this myself, right?
No, I got it. I'll come to you. It's fine. You had some terrible rolls for yourself, but then,
absolutely.
Man, did you have good defense rolls throughout that game.
It was
good God,
just crazy.
You should have been dead 3 times.
I was going to say, I don't think we would have made it through the game if first attack, if I had gone down the first attack that I went down on to 1 health on.
Yeah, it would have been a lot harder because we would have wanted to come back and get you, to revive you, to get some of your.
Yeah.
Well, you just start to bleed out, and if we don't have you in the game, like that's a big disadvantage.
I mean, that's all the dice though. Like first couple of rounds you were shooting and didn't kill anyone.
Didn't
so
kill.
if you would have killed them
Didn't
off,
touch anybody.
if you would have killed them off, you wouldn't have had to roll as many defense
Yeah,
dice.
sure.
So it all balances out.
Yep. So I'm done. Just do a villain action for me.
Activate up to 2 blue villains closest to you.
Closest to me. Huh?
Yeah, you.
So he stands back up.
Stand him back up, and
convenient.
then other guy.
This dude's
that
gonna
guy.
charge at.
Read the bottom. Highest initiative.
Yeah.
It's Isaac. So he's coming right at you.
Oh.
He's gonna roll.
You
2
just
damage.
wasted your turn, I think.
No.
actually.
No, it's fine.
No. You missed.
No, I was just bad.
you just
luck.
missed.
5 plus
4.
Plus 4, 9. You
9.
missed.
We're good.
Well, I've been really lucky on that, dude. Friggin'
Activate the epic Trollkin Scout furthest away from
these
you
dudes.
on the map.
What color is it? Red. Red. He's going to do an aim shot on Isaac. Okay.
This is who's attacking right now. He's gonna move.
He's just sitting. His aim shot.
Oh yeah, he's 1, 2 spaces away. All right, roll it up.
5 accuracy. All ones. Go.
That's bad.
Those are not ones.
That's not
11,
ones at all.
12, 13.
Plus 5. No, that's just
Plus
not
5, what do you
damage
get?
yet. It's not damage. So it's plus 9. 2 ones.
Catch it in your teeth.
Oh! 12.
12. I was like, there's like he's dead. There's no way he's gonna live
Isaac,
through that.
you've lived
It's a
like
very-
3 turns at 1 health.
It's a very dull axe, okay?
Cutthroat Clash. Activate a Gobber.
A gobber. So it's red, which is the one right next to you.
Don't worry, he doesn't attack twice. No, he
he
totally
charges.
attacks twice.
Player to activate player's right.
Thank you.
No.
4. He missed.
He missed?
He
Don't
has
worry.
2 attacks.
Don't worry. He's got another attack.
Oh, come on.
He's got 2 knives.
Come on. Yay! Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
Shouldn't be alive for the past like 3 turns.
Why?
It's insane.
What's happening?
With those rolls, get in there and fight that steam jet.
Right.
Dude, you're like
He's just like.
No, I
like
can't
a-
hit anything. I just dodge.
Yeah.
It's a tough map too. Like it looks like, oh, there's nothing here, but that's just it. Half the characters are ranged. Some of the big guys have all range attacks. No matter where you are,
Yeah.
somebody's going to be able to hit you. There's really no place to hide.
It's only like,
So,
I think he's
that's-
the only one who's, him and the little knife guys are the only ones
Yeah.
that are melee only. Everyone else has a ranged option.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, nothing could spawn up here, which is fine. But we weren't even close. We started down there. You could,
Yeah, we started
and
over here.
most of the time, nothing spawned. We had what 4 or 5 the whole game spawned down
Yep.
there. The rest were on the sides, and they
Yeah.
just they would activate once and be like, all right, I'm in range to shoot. So everyone was getting hit constantly.
There's so many things if you were to go back turn by turn and look like there's so many ways where like it could have branched in different directions and like
Sure.
that's why it's a tactical miniatures game. You respond to things kind of as they go out. Like our strategy was like, okay, get to the hook and slam it into the door quick. But then along the way, like everything happens. Like steam jacks spawn, like
Yeah,
dudes.
Brian got knocked on his ass.
Yeah, Brian made an awesome choice early game. You just went straight for it, which is
Yeah.
that actually panned out.
And we drew
we needed to.
And we drew the rest of it for him.
And you and I kind of tanked the hook for a little while, and it worked out great.
Yeah.
Climb. That was pretty
Pinball
funny.
right there. I'm taking Rusher as my great strength. Can you move me here? I'm sprinting.
That's 3 spaces?
Yeah.
Wow.
It allows me to, when I walk or run, move an extra space.
So you are now, you're done then.
So you just moved.
You're just moving, right?
Yeah.
All right, villain action first, Isaac, end of your turn.
Oh, good. Boss Blitz. Activate the boss villain. If there's no boss in play, activate 2 villains for
Brian, you go and get Crane.
Activate the boss villain. So
There
Jeremy,
is no
boss
So,
villain
put it back.
activation. You can read that.
So yeah. So if he's in the crane without an enemy, he's going to use the crane.
This is
So-
the crane.
So if there's no heroes in the space with the crane hook, it moves to the hero closest to him. Closest to the villain would be Brian.
Yep.
So it moves into the space. And when it moves into a space with any target, it rolls an attack. So the crane will move,
Hook attack. Yep.
and the hook's attack is 16 power, and accuracy is equal to the intelligence of the person using it, and his intelligence is 6.
Okay, so you
So
get to
roll
plus 6.
2 dice plus 6.
6
Oh,
and 6
wow,
is 12. And what is it? What's your
Uh,
defense?
11.
You're big and giant. All right.
All
So
right,
what's the
so-
damage roll? 16 power.
16 power. Plus
I'm
2
sorry.
dice.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that auto hit.
Oh wait. 5 plus
still
16 is still
21.
a hit. That's gonna do.
Oh, I don't have tough
two-
going.
2 wounds.
Yep.
And you are now knocked down.
Oh my.
Boss Blitz.
Another boss.
Activate the
Good
boss
thing you were
villain.
in his space, though.
All right. So now he's gonna
So
drop
good.
it on Brian.
So, yes.
We're at the same distance.
Oh, sorry. So, what's the color priority?
Blue.
If it's blue, it targets the hero not in space, so it comes to you, Matt.
All right, that's good. We're splitting up the damage. I just healed, so it's gonna go and then make an attack.
Yep.
And then hit you for 2 damage, though.
Potentially.
6 plus 2 dice.
That's a hit. Plus 16. Come on, double ones. It doesn't matter what I roll. You still get.
I can't do more than 2 damage.
2 damage.
Yeah, that's 2 damage by a huge amount. So, ow.
And,
Hey, 2 boss activation cards are out of the deck.
Yep.
That's good.
Until
My
now
turn is
it's
now done. Now the
blue.
villain is actually going to activate.
No, don't do that. It's just his
It
turn.
just
Now the
comes
villain
back to me.
activates.
Just tink, tink, tink.
It will.
It's going to just double pound me with a hook.
No, it's going to go back to
Back
front.
to Ryan. Just pinball machining us both.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's going to go back but do
Awesome.
nothing. It's going to go back and do nothing because
Why?
it can't hit someone who's knocked down.
Just swings over his head. He's like, oh man, he's already on the ground.
Hey, we'll tank this, guys. We got the hook.
Yeah.
Well, that's I love that kind of stuff about this game, and it's sort of, I guess, you know, I'll be honest, setting up the maps and stuff and learning each scenario, they're all very unique. So I guess I'll actually, you know, it's more of a compliment than a criticism, really, because I mean, to talk about this, there's I think 7 chapters, maybe 8. Let me just look real quick. There's 7 scenarios, and that doesn't sound like a lot. You can play them multiple times, and there's actually side quests you can get that give you bonus things. We haven't actually even started a side quest in this campaign. This is number 4. The scenarios, like the boss for this one has very specific rules for activation, and in each mission, like there's a finale in most of them. There wasn't one in this one, but there's all kinds of different conditions. You have to read like almost a page and a half of rules for this specific scenario, which kind of sounds like a hassle, but it makes each mission totally unique. It's not like, hey, this one's a dungeon delver where you kill a guy. Oh, and this one's a dungeon delver where you kill a guy. They're all totally different for sure.
So while there's prep time,
Sure.
there's a payoff. There's
Definitely.
a huge payoff
Definitely
because
agree with that.
it really mixes up the game.
It's a really fun game, and just the whole leveling up aspect's also fun.
Yeah.
You get
We're all
the
suckers for
XP is
that.
just, instead of being like you get this ability or you get to choose from these. No, you get XP and then just
Do whatever you want.
the feel of it's fun. You
Yeah.
get to customize it that way.
you have a ton of choices. Definitely have a ton of choices.
Cooler than just being told what to
Yeah,
get.
it's not like, oh, you got level 2, you can pick a level 2 ability. No, you just save your XP. I mean, if you spent 0 XP, I could buy my 20 XP thing
What does that do?
Yeah.
early. I can perform 2 actions a turn.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
That's ridiculous. 2 actions is insanely strong.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, that's everybody gets 1. Now I can activate Pog and go and attack. Like, that's
Awesome.
3-4 attacks. That's crazy. Yeah, there are some things that are just plus stats, and they're good. But like adding a new rune shot or adding the ability to knock people down.
So much more fun.
I went and I took a precision throw, which I think it's still really good. It just gives me a better chance to hit with acid grenades and a better chance to hit with throwing knives. Because whenever you attack with ranged weapons, I attack with all of them. So I can attack with my throwing knife and my grenade every turn, giving myself better accuracy with both things.
That's pretty
good.
cool.
It's awesome.
So I figured it's worth a shot. I mean, my acid grenades only hit on 5 normally. Now they hit on where they have a +6 now instead of a +5.
Yeah.
It's a minor upgrade, but it gives it to both of my ranged weapons, and every time I attack, I'm rolling those bonus dice. So
Yeah,
that'll pay off.
Yeah, because and especially like it's a little bit more valuable too when you consider the defense is the equal hits versus armor.
Correct. Yeah, it's a better way for me to land, and my damage on everything is pretty high. A 9 power on an acid grenade. I want to hit with that because I'm going to damage something.
Yeah.
9 is pretty good.
You don't want to just be really good at one thing. You
That's
know,
a- that's
it's
a great point.
Hey,
Yeah,
I got
that's exactly what I was
9
gonna say.
power. I got to get up to 12. Like, no, because I have 6 attack. Well, it'd be better to go to 7 because you have to do 2 rolls in order to actually do damage.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
good
it
to be
definitely
balanced
speaks
going
to
up
this.
so that you can actually hit.
I
do
only
something.
attacked 2-3 times. That wasn't a reaction. And most of my gameplay was dodging attacks from somebody else,
Yep.
and actually
Yeah.
playing a tank to a certain extent.
You
So
probably dodged a good 12 damage in
Yeah.
this game.
At least.
Well,
so
there's just so many moments when I think having the multiple dice rolls, like I like dice games, we all do, but like having the multiple dice rolls with hit and damage, it's always got everybody like their eyes are on the table, they're invested in the roll, which I think is cool.
Sure.
Yeah, and
Everybody wants to know what happened.
Yeah, it's less of like one roll defines everything. Like
True.
it's like all right, he's gonna hit, but let's see if it actually goes past your armor. All right, we still another chance.
Yeah,
you know?
and thematically that's really fun. Like we had a couple of moments we were like, oh, this is what just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
right.
we describe the scene
Yeah.
because it's super fun. Like,
Yeah.
an arrow hits you, but it doesn't
Yeah.
do any damage or
Yeah,
whatever.
because having like 10 armor, like having 11 armor, but like having it not affect you is like how? Like
Yeah.
I'm this little goblin, but somehow the arrow didn't damage me.
I know,
I
and
guess. But, like,
we couldn't possibly end our turns without
Yeah.
explaining what had just
Yeah.
happened because we wanted to
Yeah.
make sure we like thematically like that's exactly what happened. He's gonna do an aim shot to Isaac.
He has +1 to hit and damage. because he's a thug
That's going to hit.
next to
I
the
think.
commander.
7, 8 plus. What has he got?
7, 8, 9 plus 4.
He's got you.
So it hits you. So just
Regular damage roll.
9 plus 4, that's 13. I have 13.
no plus. There's another plus 1.
There's a +1 for this guy. Either way,
I don't think it matters
Either way, the
anymore.
damage.
you roll 2 damage.
Oh, doesn't matter. Okay, cool.
So that's the equivalent of that guy throwing the weakest meatball crossbow that
I was
anyone's
gonna
ever
say.
thrown. It's like
It jammed on him. He decided to throw the crossbow itself.
threw it overhand.
No,
It's like
no, he pulled the crossbow out, but the tip fell off. He's like, ah, so just like a stick going.
got a series of nasty
so good.
splinters.
This game's hardcore. All right.
There's a fine line between complexity and simplicity that this game kind of falls a nice in between. Where if it's too simple, the creativity kind of goes out the window, and you're just the only thing to do is min max because what else is there to do? Here, you can feel the theme kind of come out of it from the complexity of each turn. They have to roll to be able to hit that. To be able to hit you, and then you don't even know if they're actually going to cause damage at all because depending on how hard they swing or
Or
what
get
that
double
shot.
damage.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
We're all like, nah, like you see the dice roll, like, oh my god, you got to count it up real quick. And normally I would say that that's annoying to have to count dice and like math it out, but it's exciting. Like, did I hit him? Did I do double damage? Like the fact that all the damage is 1
I was gonna
or
say,
2.
That's the big thing.
That's
'cause-
awesome. It seems like, oh, that's kind of dumb. I can only do 1 or 2 damage. Like, no, trust me, it actually works out. It's really cool.
Yeah, like only taking 1 or 2 damage makes hitting and not hitting much more of an effect. Like when you miss with your in other games, if you miss with your 8 damage attack, you're like, well, crap. But if you miss with your 1, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. I missed 1. But then when you land that 1, it's more satisfying. I don't know how to explain it. But
I know exactly what you mean.
When the range is either 0, 1, or 2 damage, anywhere in there is acceptable. But when it's like 0 or 50 damage, like you're really upset when you get 0.
Yeah.
And
It makes the piles of dice kind of, it gives dice a little bit more meaning.
Yep, I totally agree. When you're boosted, you feel awesome. You're like, 3d6, let's do this. Like, you feel way better about a boosted roll.
Everyone's health is so the way their health is set up between 1 and 4. You hit with a damage, you're doing 50 to 25% of someone's health.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
this guy is 6. He's the strongest guy we've ever seen, except for those Steam Jacks. Which
We
have,
traded some
holy
serious
crap,
crits
they
with
have
them.
12?
yeah, you didn't see that?
What?
Yeah.
You're
They're
not,
impossible.
you're not supposed to fight them. Or you're supposed to bash them with a hook.
Yeah, knock him down.
God.
Yeah, knock him down
Dear
with the crane
God.
and then walk away.
Fighting a Steam Jack.
It's really
12
easy to
damage?
hit them,
Okay,
but
doorstop
Minimum
good thing.
6 turns to hit that guy, to
14
kill that guy.
and 14 armor. So that means you're not critting them. I mean, it's very
No, I
going to be
shouldn't say
really
s-
rare.
Yeah, 6 turns. I mean,
You need to be boosted.
worry,
or have
Yeah,
a special
doorstop's
crazy boosted.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we've covered this one. I should wrap it up for us. Any last thoughts, guys? Anything else you want to say?
Next time, I just want to see Doorstop go against one of the Steam Jacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
One-on-one
have to
battle.
imagine they come back.
One-on-one battle.
We're only halfway through the campaign. They're a little bit more than halfway through the campaign. I assume those guys are going to come back.
Maybe
We're gonna
after I
have
get
to
a few
toe-to-toe.
upgrades for Doorstop.
Yep. And the last thing I'll say is again, as I mentioned earlier about the missions, I'm excited to see what comes next. I mean, we have some XP to distribute. We can do that off camera. We'll do it later, but we don't actually know what's coming up next. So we're going to sit here without reading the next mission and build out our characters and see how it goes. So
Sounds good.
sounds like fun. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you again next time. See you.